Welcome, guys, to the SBN Network podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and with me is...
I'm Scott.
Yes.
And I'm Scott. We know how to do intros now.
This is a podcast where we take some deep dives into some wonderful artists and kind of look at their account in a different way, which is always a little bit positive, a little awesome, and you guys can enjoy their accounts with us.
And now that we've gotten more professional, I try not to say any dumb stuff.
And I try to at least always end on a good note.
I feel very excited. Super excited. Oh, gosh, that coffee is hotter than I was expecting.
It's funny that you had different beverages for like every episode.
Yeah, I change it up. I think I've only done one with tea. But yeah, I definitely change it up. Maybe I got to get more into tea. I've never been a tea person, but I think maybe that'll broaden my beverage choices, because there's so many teas out there that I'd be limitless. So that's what I'm gonna do.
We'll get some recommendations.
Yeah, I know. People recommend teas to me that I should drink. Sonny, welcome.
Hey,
I am so excited to have you.
Yeah, I've been following your podcast quite religiously. So every time the show's up, I'm always the first few to.
That makes me so happy. I'm happy you like it. This is great. Like you were definitely a top pick for me. Your feed, your page is so unique. It is very, very important and special. And it was really when Steph told me that you were going to do it, I was like, yes, this is it. This is the moment. I'm so excited. You really are. You're a really, really important person in the community. You have a very distinct vibe that you go for. I know I say that to like a lot of the people on here, and it is true. That's why we get people on here. But you do something very different. And I will say it: if you don't follow Sonny, go follow him. Your photos have such a great spirit and such a positive influence, I think. And I said it in my write-up about the fact that in the weird world that we live in now, and I think everybody could gain a little something from going to your page. It's you make people happy, you make people laugh, and you make all kinds of people laugh. I think your versatility as far as what your choice of toys is really wonderful, because you really do. You do Disney, you do Star Wars, you do Pixar, you have Legos, you have one-offs, you have little skull. Like you don't discriminate when it comes to toys. You basically you will try anything, and it is anybody can find something on your page that they connect to, that they find humorous. It's really wonderful. So we all appreciate you being in this world. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, always happy to share some joy around the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sonny, I really appreciate you being you're our number one fan, actually. Because like when I asked you to be on here, you're like, I've been waiting since episode 1, Steph. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because
we never would have guessed.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for this. I'm going to bring up the slideshow, which it's going to happen anyways. But I'm very excited for this one because I think you're the longest running account we've had on too.
Oh, okay.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I thought you'll bring out my Spider-Man photo. This is way back before my Spider-Man photo. Yeah. I haven't even discovered the community yet when I did that. Yeah.
Amazing. You have, over a decade now. Like that is so cool. That is so cool. You are, that is not common. That is not common at all.
I think this was an accident because this came out when coincidentally it comes to the photo I shared today, because my kids were really mad about the Halo game when the Xbox came out.
Yeah.
They got the vehicles and stuff, and I think this was like a 2-minute shot. I just put it in, and then back then I didn't even know what Instagram was about. So every time I take a photo, right, then it's always checking for network and always wondering why, whether they just post it and all that. So I really never really got into the community. It's just random posting. I think if you go back and check my account, it's quite random stuff, right? Some of my trips.
Mhm.
Well, honestly, I don't think back 2011. I mean, Instagram was still finding its
New.
footing. It was not. It was not like there were no influencers. People weren't making money off of Instagram. There was no advertising on Instagram. Instagram was still in its baby days. It was still like trying to figure out what it was even. And to me, I love the fact that we go back this far, that you really did. You started doing it to just share your creative process. You were just having fun. Like that's all it was. This was just you posting fun photos. And I love that. And I love the evolution of your images.
I haven't even realized it's that far back. It's 2011.
It took me about 20 minutes to scroll. I'm just gonna let you know.
I also love that you have the Instagram borders, because that was huge. That was because when you go back to 2011 on Instagram, you could only post in square. Firstly, like there was no workaround. Like it was always in a square format.
Right,
and the borders were like just options. As soon as you upload it, there were like all these border options. You just pick one, and that was that. So like I even love the fact that it's got the vintagey tone across it, and then it's got the border. It's like this is quintessential Instagram right here. It's so good.
I also like that your colors on when your feed goes through, because I had to pick a most recent one. I just picked the most recent one when I was scrolling through last night. But like you are not afraid of color whatsoever, and we're gonna go through that because you have some bold choices for colors. So
very much so.
I tend to go for more muted colors. I think, especially when I come to the touch up, I tend to pull down the colors and go for a muted look kind of thing. Yeah, not so bright. I guess. Yeah.
This is this Hulk photo. I mean, this is just, it's so great. It's so, and I love the fact that like you do share a lot of your behind the scenes, and I think what's really cool about your behind the scenes is the space you're working in is not super big. You're working in just your area basically, and you'll see these
right behind me actually.
Exactly. You got like a piece of poster board taped to the wall. You've got, but you make these photos look like somebody's in a studio doing these extravagant sets. And I think I really love your behind the scenes. I love the fact that you don't so there's two different ways I feel like people share behind the scenes. One is very curated, very like, okay, this is how I do my behind the scenes, like, and they have like a presentation style. You don't. It's just you just take a few snapshots, and Steph, I say it every time, I need to start doing this, but you take some shots just so that people can see what's happening. And I think there's something really fun about the fact that you've got this just exquisite photograph followed by just, some photos of like just stuff around. It's like, this is how I made the photo. And it's like, wait, what? Like, how did this happen? How did this come to exist from that? And
usually my process is like I would set it up and then take the shot. Then I'll just leave the setup alone behind first. And I'll do my touch up on my com, and if I find out there's something wrong, go back and shoot again. And then after that, everything is done, then I'll do the behind the scene. Just a quick.
Absolutely. Sonny, I have to ask, just because again, you're such a presence in the community, and you've been doing it for so long. It may be one of those things where it's kind of hard to see where things started and where things ended, but like, you obviously have a varied toy collection. I kind of saw it when we did the digital toy photographer meetup thing. Like you gave us a little tour of your stuff. Like this was like over a year ago now. I jokingly said you don't discriminate, but you really do have just a vast collection. And when did you start looking at toys as like something, like when did you start collecting them? Like you have things that are, I swear, like Happy Meals toys, but then you also have, things that are really like fancy, like designer toys, but then you'll have just like some figures that like, I don't even know where they're from. Like what is this a movie? Is this a show? Like, I just think it's so cool. What made you start? Like, where did it all come from?
Okay. always get kind of way of a hoarder. So some of the stuff I got is like my kids' toys when they were young. So when I shifted house, right? I didn't throw away all their toys. In fact, and then I kept most of their stuff. And in fact, I don't know whether you know about those toy soldiers. What they call the affix toy soldiers. Do you know? About?
Yeah.
I even have those, and then because
Really?
yeah,
Huh.
when I was a kid, I didn't throw. I still have those figures, and so I never throw away my own toys. I never throw away my kids' toys. So it just kind of like
Yeah, you've accumulated.
yeah. And then what happened was I think like some of the guys I started collecting the Power of the Force after I missed those initial launches of those five points articulation toys during the 70s.
Yeah.
So when the 80s came by, I was working, I was collecting all kinds of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
So I got most of the Power of the Force toys. So after that, there was a lull period. So that's, I think, like most guys, because of the Black Series, right? So I started to buy those Black Series figures.
Yeah.
And after that, I took some photos, posted. That's when I found a community, like most guys do also. And that's when I discovered, there are other figures other than Star Wars. So I discovered that, wow, there's Predator toys, there's, Alien toys. That's when I think the community is to blame for my collection. Again, long story short. So,
you started seeing other things, other options. Totally.
That's right. So the revival came mostly from the Black Series, and then I started collecting more and more stuff from there.
Yeah. It really is great. I really enjoy that. You never know what you're going to see on your page. There's no way to predict. And I think that to me is so fun. And I'm so happy that there's text in the progress photos from, beginning to now, because that is such a staple now of your appearance, as you put these texts. And sometimes it's as simple as just like a line or something from a movie. Sometimes it's a pun. Sometimes it's a quote. Sometimes it's like poetry. I love the fact that you just sort of go with it and see where you want it to go. And I think that is really, really, really great. And
sometimes I feel also I don't need to put that in. Initially, I was like very conscious that maybe I have to put the quotes. Then when I look at the photo and I think that the text might messed up the photo a bit, so I just let it slide. So I'm not too conscious and very detailed about whether I want or don't want to put the text.
Absolutely. And then sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes you do photos that it totally makes sense. Like, it's just, this is the image, it is what it is. But when you do place it, it's very clear and it's very smart. And that was, I don't know how, I actually haven't seen Steph, so I'm not even going to speak for like what Steph has done. I'm not sure what her end result was.
It's a little crazy, because this was the hardest. This is the hardest challenge I've ever had, because I wanted it to be conscious of all of your efforts, because I really believe the text you do choose, or even like the focus of the photos you choose, is so relevant to you as a person and the toys that you're photographing, that I was like, I can't find the right, or I had too many toys I had that connection with. So I had a million things on the floor trying to figure out what I was going to take a photo of. So I ended up with my first shot that I ever took, because I've taken your photos, I think 6 times now. This is including this morning, trying to figure out. So I just went with my first option, which is not truly sunny, but I liked it enough where I was like, okay, I feel comfortable with this.
Comfortable enough.
I don't know where you guys find the energy to go and study other people's style, and then,
Oh, I love it so much.
I had Bakugo from an anime. I had The Witcher out. I had an Alien that I bought yesterday out. I have Kevin from Up. I have it's the most varied group of figures that I could ever find.
That's true Sunny style, though. You literally have everything.
I want to take every spectrum. It's just like, I can't.
Every spectrum.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let you know mine is gonna be not
Wild.
what I had pictured, but it's good. So
I love it.
Anyway, this picture. I saw you scrolling through my feed this morning.
Yep.
this
This is so great. This because something you do in here that you do frequently, not again, it's hard to say exactly what you do, what is your frequency of doing things, but you will incorporate real world objects in with your toys. And I have really enjoyed photographers who have come on here who do that. It is a very specific skill. It is something that I truly have not really experimented with except early on. When I first got started, I was using micro machines in real worlds like this world environment.
Right.
And then as soon as I got into 6-inch figures, I stopped completely. And I would like to go back and do it again, but you do it very well. They don't always, the real world stuff doesn't always necessarily matter. It's not like it has to be there, but it reminds you, it's that reminding people that it's a toy, and that's something that's so big with your feed, and something that I know you're friends with Shelly, and one of the things she always talks about in her own podcasts, her own discussions, her own write-ups is play. And she hammers it into people's heads because I think toy photographers, we forget a little bit once in a while, and we sometimes can take ourselves a little too seriously, and we start migrating into oh, this needs to be the biggest, most epic action shot ever. And it's okay, reel it in. It's a toy. Have fun with it. That's the whole point of this. And you never lose that. You never lose that once in your entire feed. It's all it's realistic, but at the same time, you're reminding people that it's a toy. And even though we're adults, we can have fun and we can laugh and we can smile, and it should always be an enjoyable experience. And I think when you do these moments where you do incorporate something in the real world, it is a reminder that that little figure on there is something to be played with and something to, fool around with and whatnot. And I love that. It's this is a great image. Love it.
I think it helps that I'm not a very serious person in general, so
Good.
I tend to look at lighter side of stuff. And this was an outing together with my group of friends that I have on Facebook. We try to do monthly outing with the guys, so it's very easy because we are a small place, so it's very easy to round up the followers for every monthly outing. But because of COVID, and we seem to be doing less of that now. But this in fact, what happened was that one of the members of the group was a librarian, and he came up with the idea that let's go to the library, and he opened the library 1 hour before official opening time, and let us have the whole place to run around.
That is so cool. What a cool idea. Is that when you took the photo? This is really random, but you took a photo of Ant-Man in a reading
That's
a book.
right,
Is that where you took that?
That's right. Yes.
I clearly know your feed too well. There's something that's kind of weird that I'm pulling out photos from back, but whatever. It is what it is. But I love that photo too. That's such a great image, and that's such a great idea to use a library. That is a perfect I mean, God, that is the essence. I loved the library as a kid. Elliot, my 2.5-year-old, likes go to the library and stuff like that. What a great combination of toys and library in the real world. That's fantastic.
I think all of us headed to the kids section for this because
good.
The books were colorful and there were lots of backgrounds and stuff. So we were given the whole place, but I think we were stuck at the kids section.
Amazing. That is amazing. I love that idea.
I always feel like your toys are running amok somewhere, and you're just photographing the chaos. So
I got to thank my friend Kelvin for this, though. That's not mine. So it's great that we go out in a group, we can swap each other's toys. Yeah.
I do love, Steph, what you said about them running amok. It does. Your photos do always feel like your toys are causing trouble, and I like that. That is that lighthearted, that joy, that happiness is. They always feel like they're you caught them doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and I think that is hilarious. Even the most simple photographs you have, even the one where that I reposted today with one of mine with the dead bug, and it's got like the spray can. He's like, I think it's dead, Jim, or whatever you said in there. Like that is like, it feels like you honestly, like you accidentally came upon that and took a photo of
did.
it happening, and that's what's so funny. Like,
What happened was I was working and I saw the dead bug, so I stopped my work and took a
and put
quick
the fingers.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is like one of my favorite.
Oh God. Oh God.
This
It's
one-
so good. It's so good. It's
It's
you.
quite logical. I think this is the most obvious thing that I can think of for you.
But oh my God, it's so good. And again, you're very artistic. You know how to, because you do graphic design and stuff, you have a very clear, so we don't even need to get into that aspect of it. Like you're so clear about your framing. You make such a conscious effort to make things aesthetically pleasing. You balance all your images like exactly how I would expect a graphic designer to balance their images. And I think that adds to your aesthetic too, by obviously, like you have all these great ideas, and lots of people can have great ideas, but you also execute them. Like the focus here, like, is so smart. Like everything about this is so smart. Like you made sure all the other, like fake dudes are all like blurred out in the background, and he's just looking down, like looking at you, pointing. Like I don't know, you made it feel so real and so fun and casual. And I love that. I love the crease too, the binding of the book where that falls like on his arm and stuff. Like again, little things like that. If you hadn't had that crease there, I don't know if it would have had the same like but again, I think that's your graphic design brain, just like realizing that and saying like, I have to make sure this line goes down the middle, because if you had just been laying on a page, it gives it that real book feel. You're seeing the arc like from the middle. It's lovely. It's lovely. This is such a good shot.
Thanks. Also whenever I shoot, I also have to like consciously decide how I want to place the text too. So it's like I gotta work inside my mind. Yeah, the placement.
You leave a very good open space for your text. I'll be honest, I didn't, and it shows in my photos. Like you can see, I just sort of like hoped for the best and found a gap because I'm not used to thinking about text. So I took the photos, I was done with the photos, and then I went, oh damn it, I didn't actually think about where I'm going to put the writing. I genuinely, I uploaded everything. I was done editing, and I looked at it and I went like, and because of the fact that also we've talked about this on the podcast, I'm not a cropper. So I basically had everything framed exactly how I intended. So there was very little room for me to start throwing words in. I made it work, but you do a great job. Again, graphic design, artistic brain, like finding that perfect spot to place the text in your images. So
sometimes also I find myself posing, like you get into the character,
yes,
you like literally playing with it, and sometimes you end up, if the scene is too weird, right? Sometimes end up getting it's kind of fun in a way. Yeah.
I love doing that. I love like moving and like trying to like do the thing. It's so fun to do that stuff.
And I also am a little bit more conscious of like small little touches. Like I think this morning I shared the picture of the which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
So I, even though it took me almost an hour just to get the two figures to stand, because it's like it's like after I put the support right, it's in the right position, but after I look in the frame and then it doesn't look right, and I read it falling by adjusting that minor adjustment again just to get the right position. So and it's sometimes can be quite backbreaking. So I find that you can get quite a bit of workout doing toy photography, especially
yes, you
outdoors
can.
when you're on the ground, right?
Yes, you can.
You get up, you go down, you get up, you go down.
Yes.
I've said this to people, like photographing toys is I found myself on the ground before, and it takes me a few minutes to figure out how to get myself back up and moving, because I'll be like, I've been laying in a position for like 15 minutes and I haven't moved, and now all of a sudden I've got like gravel in my knees or something, and I'm like, all right, how do I get up now? I've been laying here and I'm kind of stuck. Like
sometimes I think I surprise myself, especially when I'm shooting outdoor, how nimble I am just to get into position.
Mhm.
The next day I'll feel the effect.
Yes, right. You wake up and you're like, did I work? Like, what happened? Was I at the gym for an hour? Like, I don't get it. I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you take these, Sunny, do you have the text already in mind, or is it kind of?
That's a very good question, because I sometimes it helps that I don't jump straight and shoot an idea that I have. So, and that idea in terms of captions or composition or whatever, it will evolve itself. And then sometimes the caption will just change. Just like today, the shot again, as I was shooting, the final caption came to my head. That wasn't the original caption. I can't remember the original one, but sometimes the words come during the process of shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, this one.
So good.
I still have the cardboard up on my desk.
Did you just make that impulsively to do this? Was that just like did you just draw this like impulsively to make this? Like
yeah. So what happened was this was okay. I firstly I like cardboards, you see. So I like to those cardboards that comes in Amazon packages and all
Sure.
that. So I received this big package. Then I went on Google to see how to draw this space slug. So I drew that on marker and everything, and I cut it out. And then I think there's a video for this I did behind
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I remember.
Slice all the background for the meteorite kind of thing, and I used the wrapping paper for the foreground and everything. Yeah, this is all my favorite photo.
this is amazing, and it's like just your thought process is so cool to me. And you are somebody in an artistic field too, so it's fun to hear your perspective on this, because there's a lot of photographers, like toy photographers out there, who are not in, they just do toy photography. It's just something fun they do. They work some other like more normal job, but you are in an artistic field, plus you like doing this, and it shows, and it's so cool. Like the way you approached this, like the idea of even like the card, like you said, the paper wrapping and stuff, everything is cardboard based. And I just think that there's something so beautiful about that again, it's that I used to make things out of cardboard all the time when I played with my Star Wars figures when I was a kid. I mean, and I think we've talked about this, Steph. Like I had my figures, but I didn't have any like play sets or anything like that. I did not have, any of the big elaborate things. So I would take boxes and I would draw with Sharpie and marker and make what I wanted it to look like. Now they weren't always great looking, because, you're a 10-year-old drawing pictures on a box, but that was my way of doing it. And so just again, that representation here is very cool. And I also love the way that you lit it. I love the way you lit the cardboard. Like it's gorgeous. That little light peeking behind the slug's back is really cool too. To give it a little separation. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like that is, I would have been so sad if that wasn't there. Like it's beautiful. The fact that there's just that little pop on the side, make sure that the slug doesn't disappear into space and the stars and stuff. It gives it that separation, makes it seem like it's coming forward. I just, it's so good. It's so good.
I remember I was doing this till quite late at night, and then I couldn't proceed anymore because I actually didn't know how to light the whole thing. So I went to sleep. But I think my mind was still working while I was asleep. I think I got up at 5+ in the morning to finish off the shoot because I was excited to finish it off. And I do like to do a lot of mixed medium, like sometimes painting watercolor watercolor, right, as a backdrop and all that.
Yes.
So yeah, I do enjoy arts and crafts kind of stuff. Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah. Do you have a lot of, so obviously again, graphic design, but like, do you have in your throughout your life? Do you have a lot of like visual art experience and stuff? Like you obviously know you
Oh,
paint, you draw, you do illustration. Like have you done a lot of that other stuff, or is it just sort of
no, actually, my background is in formal study. I studied electrical engineering, but I was never into it. So,
Wow.
I did tech support work for almost 10 years,
Yeah.
and then on the day of my promotion, I told my boss, "Okay, that's it. I'm done here." Because while I was working full time, right, I was like freelancing, and I realized that hey, I can make a whole month's salary in a couple of days. So I decided that maybe this was a better
Good.
gig. So I had a friend who was in exhibition design.
Yeah.
So at that time, that was back in the 80s, and at that time, the first those simple animation like 2D animation, I saw that you could animate all that. I was quite taken by that. So I had a friend. I remember, I remember him telling me this. Do you want to like for the rest of your life, you want to crawl under the table, look for cable, and show your butt crack? Or do you want to? Sorry to all the people. That's what he told me.
That's
Do you want to
amazing.
do this, So like, yeah. So I did a lot of freelance work while I was doing tech support work, and I had to learn everything myself.
Yeah.
You don't have the internet, everything, so it was pretty tough to. So the best way, I guess, is to take on projects, right, and just dive into it and struggle and just come out the other end, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
That
what
is
I do.
amazing. And like you just said, like with the lack of internet connection and whatnot back then, like I think we forget how spoiled we've gotten in this day and age when you're trying to like develop your business or grow your your brand or whatever. It's amazing that you did accomplish what you were doing on the side without necessarily having that crutch of just like putting yourself out there all the time and like just
Yeah,
taking jobs and going with it. Like that's wild.
it was tough though, but it was quite tough. So I couldn't decide where I wanted to go. And at that time, the dot com boom was happening.
Yeah.
So I was, and at that time there was a lot of jobs because of the internet and all that. So
Yeah.
that's where I got all my training from. Yeah, I just dive into it. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do. Like even
It's true.
like directing and editing and all that kind of stuff. I still remember I had to go and do a shoot, and although like took almost an hour before we shot anything because that was my first assignment and I didn't know what to do. Right,
Yeah.
so this dark, right? It's like I'm struggling below, then calm on top. Everything is in control, right?
Yeah.
Struggling. So yeah, I still believe the best way to learn is through this this process.
Yes,
So,
I think you're 100% right, and that just go for it. And like you said, see how you come out on the other end. Like
yeah, correct. Exactly.
it's amazing. But yeah, you're obviously you're artistic. Your vision is awesome. Like your ideas and stuff are just perfect. And there aren't many people who think like this. I think this is a rare thought process. I think this really does separate, different types of brains, and people who can just make this happen are just it's awesome. It's awesome.
I mean, you could make a whole like slow motion or whatever they do nowadays
Yeah.
in cardboard, and it'd be so cool. I don't even think
A
anyone's ever
cardboard book.
I would buy a cardboard book of images.
Yeah.
This
Me
is
too.
amazing. Like this is what I do with my kids. You make cardboard stuff and you hang out.
Mhm.
I'm always very curious to learn new stuff. Like now, I'm actually trying to pick up 3D. Like that's my only Achilles heel is not being able to do 3D. So I'm slowly
3D, yeah.
because of COVID last year, I took the time to pick up slowly, and I'm picking out a bit. So I was thinking like you could print your own. If I could pick up 3D skill, I can print my own accessories and print my own figures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I see a lot of the guys doing that now. So it's really handy to have that kind of skill. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine it would be super complicated for you if you can do this kind of stuff. You'll figure it out pretty fast.
It took a while to figure out, wrap my head around this
Yeah.
3D world. So yeah, hopefully see how it progresses. Yeah. I like spaceman. I think
So good.
for astronauts. This is quite some time ago.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love some of these little tiny guys you use. Like, what is this? What is this little astronaut? Like, I know you have these very small, like non-posable figures that you
Correct,
use
that's
sometimes.
right.
Where do
I
they
think
come from?
I think this belongs to my kid when they got a space set.
Okay.
Then I do have the FX astronaut series where
Okay.
also this is not posable either. But
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for astronauts and stuff. Yeah. I love the whole outfit thing. Yeah. So I'm still looking for the ideal 6-inch astronaut though. Yeah.
Oh,
Still looking. Yeah.
that is quite an exploration trying to find that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did you use real sand here, or is this like
Oh,
kinetic
this is
sand, or
But this is the kinetic sand, right?
the
Yeah.
kinetic sand? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I haven't played with that. I know people love to use it for things
Oh,
because it
fun.
doesn't stick.
Elliot will love it.
I gotta get some of that. Like, I really do.
The tip I will give when using this is to make sure that you press you compress the sand so
Okay.
that we just pour it out, right? It looks too lumpy and out of scale for the figure. So,
Okay.
but if I
Get
were
it
to
squashed.
shoot astronaut these days, I will use cement powder though. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I understand it's a bit toxic, so I try not to inhale. So every time I try not to do too much of that. So I try to make sure that my place is ventilated. I hold my breath when I pour the stuff and all that.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I learned this text. I mean, I learned this to use cement powder from one of the guys I saw. I can't remember the account, but he did a whole series of this alien on vacation, and I saw that the texture of the cement was realistic. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so these days, I would use I would use cement as a moon base, and also I realized that back then, because this is a pretty old image, I realized that my text is like way too big and all that. I see a lot of problems with this text. It's way too big.
Isn't that interesting though? Like, and again, as a graphic designer, that's something I don't think most people would even think about, but like that pops into your head. You look back on it and you're like, huh,
It's
it
too
should be a
big.
little smaller.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
excessive.
Yeah. Then
Isn't that
I
interesting?
also over time I removed the watermark from my photos. If you
Yeah.
notice, I find that it also gets in the way of the picture. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. It's funny. I when I was doing more like portrait photography, I used to watermark my photos when I posted them and stuff. And then I got to a point where I was just like, I don't really like the way this looks when I post my photographs. So I stopped doing it. I didn't feel like it like, again, yeah, somebody could steal your photo. I mean, that's the world we live in. But at the same time, I was just like, does it really justify for me ruining the photo by placing my watermark on it? And I've never done it with toy stuff. That was more like professional stuff.
I figure it's not difficult to erase the watermark. So
Exactly. Yeah. In the world we live in now, it's really, you can just
So-
Photoshop it.
And the thing is that once you throw it out there, right, it doesn't really belong to you anymore. So,
I know. Again, the world we live in.
oh, this shot. Oh, I had so much. I was gonna do a link shot recently also. Yeah, I remember this. I like this. This is my favorite photo too. Yeah.
This is amazing. This just, again, your versatility, like completely different from the last photo.
Yeah.
A photo with no text. We don't have text in this photo. The just two figures that don't actually exist in the same world mashing together in just a really fun way that people would enjoy. And again, a lot of people can relate to this image, and it's gorgeous. I love this shot.
I think it helps that I don't have any background. I don't really play a lot of video games, so I don't have a lot of background info about this character Link. So I guess that helps in the sense that I can do anything with it without baggage.
Yes.
I think that's really useful. But I do remember posting another photo from the same outing. I always remember that Ling is left-handed because someone commented that because I was holding it, he was holding the saw in right side, and then someone mentioned that he's left-handed. So I never forget that. Every time when I shoot this Ling character, I'll make sure that he's holding the saw left-handed.
That is really funny.
Is it left-handed? Is it?
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't have even. I don't.
Someone mentioned to me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is funny though how people catch that. But like you said, the fact that you don't have a specific, connection to the character makes the figure, I think, a lot more open-ended. It gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want with it because, I mean, that's even the way I feel if somebody wanted to like go grab some Star Wars figures who'd never seen Star Wars, you could do so many funny things with those characters if you're not like stuck in the lore and the canon of it and whatnot. And I think there's
one of those coming up too.
Yeah, good. It's just keeping an open mind and but like I was gonna say, like where did you shoot this? Do you remember?
Yes. Okay, I was just gonna bring it up. This is one of my favorite places that me and my guys like to go. It's actually our botanic gardens here. And I like this area because within this area you can find all kinds of texture from like you can shoot Lord of the Rings stuff there. You can have lots of moss. You can have rocky surface. So this whole area you can spend the whole. In fact, I did spend the whole day there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was doing another shoot, it got so I go there so often that I'm actually friends with the gardener there now. So
that's awesome. And the fact, like you do this, you can do it outside, but you can also do inside so well. Like you're not better at either. Like they're both like you're equally good at both of them, which I don't think is very common to find that. Like somebody who's as impressive outdoors as they are indoors. Like usually people they can be good at both, but like you're like excellent at both, and I'm just so envious of that. Like you do the inside perfectly and outside.
I think it helps that I'm not really a technical person when it comes to like the technical aspect of photography. So maybe being ignorant is good. So it's like I don't have any baggage there too. So I just see whatever I like. And it looks okay. I'll just take it. Well, I don't have any like all those technical baggage. I'm not really a technical person when it comes to shooting. So when it comes to discussion within a group, right? Then they talk about all the specs and all that. Then I was like, I try to
what are they talking about?
What they're talking about. So I'm not into that kind of conversation. So maybe it helps that it's good to be ignorant.
Yeah. I mean, but I will look at like your designer brain here. Like, I just can't believe like the shield placement, the fact that the shields are like right along, like in line with each other. And I like that the skeleton shield is kind of like just covering his like lower jaw. Your again, framing and placement is so cool. This photo is just
you can tell
fantastic.
You have a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and you see like how you think, like the dark sword again up like above his head, like right in that light spot. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time about how easy it is to just do something a little different and have it not have the same impact. Like you get to see that whole shadowed arm and sword stand out. But if you go a little bit farther to the left, if you had just been at like a slightly different angle, it would have disappeared into that rock. But you have such your visual brain power is so incredible. Like I love that.
Unconscious thing. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but that's again, that's because you do this. This is the way your brain works, and it's really cool. I love seeing how people's brains work when they're doing artistic things like this. It's really neat. The posing is just really, really good in this.
I appreciate that sometimes you may shoot like hundreds and hundreds of photos, but there are always one or two that like you enjoy and it doesn't look like yes age. So I think this is one of my favorite because I still enjoy looking at this one.
Yeah, it has stood the test of time. I love it. Yes. Again, going from that last photo to this, you have no limits. You have no limits. It's absolutely.
I remember the process.
God, this is so funny. Like
I was busy picking dust from my tweet I was like strategically placing. It was not like just randomly thrown out. It's like I was strategically
you were
placing the dust. I had to remove the hair that was sticking out because
No, it is so clear that you consciously did this and made it look perfect. I love this. This made me laugh. But this is the kind of stuff, again, like anybody can find this, like find humor in here and find humor in your process. And, it's, this is a light photo that is just really fun. You left a perfect space for the text, like obviously very intentional there. This is such a fun image. I love it. I love this.
It's cute. I love his little feet are like showing too. Like you can see the little details you don't have a Lego figure. It's cute.
Yes, you didn't cover it with dust. Like it's very clearly there. You see both of his hands. It's his body that's covered, and like the top of his head, you can still see his facial expression. Like, and I love how it's just kind of like pouring off of him on the sides too. Like he's just like this huge like robe of dust. He's like, "Da-da-da, look at me go." I love it. I love this.
It's pretty perfect. Hold on, let me see. Oh, no, we go straight to the challenge. I thought I had the one with Chewie and the cats.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
This is mine, and so I was trying to get it so that you ever seen the scene in Jurassic Park where like he's like the T-Rex comes out and he's like just screaming after like eating the goat and stuff? That's kind of what I tried to get Kevin to do, but it wouldn't work as well. So I just wanted to say this bird is crazy for this chocolate during the entire Up movie. I'm like, it's pretty much the same thing as
this is such a beautiful crossover in every sense. You've got like you don't just have a mashup, you have like a three-way mashup here. This is like a trinity of different like properties, and I love that. You've got Pixar, Cocoa Puffs, and freaking Sam. Just so, I love this.
Well, he appreciates good candy.
This makes me so happy. I am also happy that you've been using this Dio, and it's been showing up.
Correct.
It's so beautiful. Like it's just so good. I love the little guy just like poking his head out from like behind the bar.
Well, they're like,
just like
little dinosaurs. I was just like thinking Jurassic Park, like they're
here. Those are cereal on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
Are those tiny little cereal?
No, it's like a candy. They're like the Halloween bags because they've obviously been ransacked.
Steph, this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. I like that you kept the light in that top too. I like that you left that little dot up there instead of just having a blank black space up there. I think it's kind of cool. Like it's like kind of shining down on them. I really love that.
I realized I don't have any solid colored anything, and the other one I was going to take was Bakugo burning books, but I couldn't think of a good quote for it, so it was not going to work too well. And then I was going to have coins being thrown at the Witcher for like toss a coin, but I kept knocking him over, so this was going to happen.
This is the one. This is the one. I love it. I absolutely love it.
All right, you ready, Scott? I tried to get
all three. Oh gosh.
Right.
Man.
This is. You used the blue, like I mentioned in the comment. The blue was spot on. This is what I would do. Is like because I'm kind of like lazy to set up stuff and all that, so I'll go for the most minimum. Sometimes I'll go for the minimum because I feel that maybe the story is enough to sell the picture. So the same thinking,
I have to tell you about the blue poster board because this is just very typical of me. I was in Target in their poster board section, and I had your feed pulled up, and I was looking at your icon. So I took your logo and I held it up against all the poster board until I found the one that was the color of your logo. And then the best part is, even when I like white balanced it, I ended up screwing it up in Photoshop anyway. But it was just kind of funny because I sat there and I looked, and my wife was there too. And I'm looking, I'm like, this is it, right? This is the color? And she goes, yeah, that is the color. I'm like, yeah, I think this is pretty much spot on. That's what I'm going with. So I bought it, like 99 cents or whatever. And then I made that ridiculous Target setup because I know you do tend to like make little creative things. So I was hot gluing that last night, and
Oh my
it
goodness.
was just a really silly, ridiculous thing. But it was the other thing I will tell you that inspired me about this, and the reason I put the insert quote here. Yes, the one is you had the one a while back with Grogu that said "cash cow" on it.
Oh yes.
And I loved that. I love that photo because it is so fun. I am a Star Wars fan, but like it was hilarious because that is exactly what Grogu is. And
Yes,
I have been teasing people about the fact that they keep this whole this is the way thing. This is the way t-shirts. This is the way posters. This is the way everything has this is the way on it. So I really wanted to do some sort of joke on Star Wars about the fact that they've overused that quote constantly. So that's why I wanted to just do this whole like this is not the way. Yeah, it's still not the way. And then I didn't actually put this is the way in the last photo because I thought it would just be funny to kind of poke at them a little bit. But I like the way you do that. I like the way you poke fun at things like that. I love your series of the crash test dummies doing the choking. I thought that was hilarious. I really just wanted to play with that whole idea of just, being silly, being, trying to do something that's way out of my norm. And it was really an enjoyable experience. As I was taking the photos, I was like, okay, this is kind of entertaining, and like trying to make the stormtroopers actually like emote in that way. Like he's just like, oh my God, I can't deal with this guy. I cannot, he's terrible. He's the worst. Like, why am I dealing with this? And then just Mando comes through, blows all the targets off and just goes, yep, done. So it was really fun. Sonny, I had a blast, like
this
playing
has
around
all
with
the
your style.
elements that I would expect for my own photos. Yeah, the plain the plain colors, the people set up, they get to the story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was really, really fun. And then the whole idea of the exploration discovery, I wanted to just play around with like, this is the way. These guys are trying to figure out how to make their lives work because they're stormtroopers that can't shoot things, because that's just literally what stormtroopers do throughout the whole Star Wars series. So they're like trying to get better. Like, we can do this. No, absolutely not. You can't do this. Mando just showed it.
Which series? These are 6 inches, right?
Yeah, these are all Black Series. Yeah.
Are these the new stormtroopers?
These are the new stormtroopers, the ones that came out with the Mandalorian series ones.
These are more posable than the first release.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, significantly.
I should get one. I should get a few of these.
Yeah. No, they pose really well. They're little shoulder pieces too, like flap around a bit, which is really good. I think Big Bad Toy Store has them in stock right now. I think they have like a surplus of them, so they're not. I don't think they're super difficult to get at the moment.
I think the helmet. I mean, the face of the helmet is also very different from. I think the eyes are far further apart in the earlier release, if I'm not wrong.
I agree. Yeah. The first release is still fine. It's just not. It's something's weird about it.
Yeah, correct. So. It looks so much better, and it looks so much posable.
Yeah.
You need to make a comic strip.
Oh my gosh.
I need a quote on there because I wanted it this big, because this is beautiful.
This is the essence of what you do. I could not believe this. When you sent me this morning, I lost it. Like, it is just so funny. So, like, I mean, the quote in it is great. Visually, it's perfect, as one would expect from you. And I love that on the side you can still see like a little bit of the console over there too. Like, I think that is so cool. Like, again, little details that I don't think everybody would do. But you have that the direction of the lighting over the actual logo, the Xbox logo, is like, I mean, that's fantastic. I could not, like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like it's the perfect amount of like reflection to be able to, like, there's mystery, and it's like you can tell that they're like discovering it, but like it's very clearly lit so that the audience and the viewer gets to experience that as well. Just it's so good. This photo is so amazing.
Cool. When you gave me the theme, I actually had a few concepts, and this was I think this is the third idea. My initial concept was like an astronaut astronaut theme of exploration and stuff. And then also when you talk about exploration and adventures, that kind of thing, I think the first thing you come to mind is Indiana Jones. So
Uh-huh.
I think what my training has done is that whichever first idea you think of, you should chuck it away because that's not the best idea. So
Yeah.
so that I have a client who's very tough, and initially when I started out, and this client, she's still my client, but I think because of her her demanding ways, and she's always asking ways to surprise and all that. So I think from my interaction with her, I think it helps. Although it was tough, but I think it helps in the way I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I came across this idea because recently I also came across another account where I was very fascinated with the like post-apocalyptic world where he mixes pop culture with pop culture in the post-apocalyptic world. So he had a very rundown SpongeBob in a really rusty looking and he's living inside this horrible place. So it's like I started thinking that. I realized that I saw a picture of where he made the PlayStation. He I think it was a 3D render. So it's like PlayStation looking like a space station in space. So that's when I got this idea. I had like I said, I was like I like to kill a lot of old stuff. So I realized that I have an Xbox. So that's where this idea kind of evolved. So sometimes, like I said, one original idea was an astronaut. So
Yeah.
then started evolving. Then I end up shooting this on. So sometimes it's good to cook the idea.
It is. I've had that. We've had that happen before, and I mean, even Steph telling me about how she had to try like multiple times before things actually like started working. Like you do sometimes need to take a step back. I've done it with several people now on the show where my first set didn't go the way that I intended it to at all, and I looked at it like completely done. Like I had everything like photographed, ready to, and I went, no, this is terrible. This is not terrible. Like it's not what I wanted to accomplish. And you do sometimes need to go back to the drawing board, even in the middle of the shoot. Like people don't be afraid to do that. If your idea is not going in the direction that you intended it to go, don't be afraid of letting it kind of evolve. Like that happens. Like it happens all the time with all kinds of photo shoots. And like when I used to do like portraits of people and stuff like that, I can't even begin to tell you how many times I went into a photo shoot with a particular plan, like how we were going to do this. Like, let's say like it's just like somebody's like album art or something, whatever they were going to do. And then after about an hour, it was like, no, wait a minute, hold on, pump the brakes. We got this. Let's do this. And then we all went, oh yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. And then it just became something completely different. And, so many times where it's like, somebody had an idea that they came to me with. They were like, let's do this. And we do that for the professional reasons, but then they don't even end up using their original idea because as the shoot got going and you started coming up with new thoughts and new processes, like it became something else. And then the end result was better than what you had originally planned. So I like that you think that way. And again, that's your artistic brain recognizing that sometimes the first idea is not right.
Sometimes it's good to just step back and then not force yourself and give it a rest and come back. Yeah.
Yes, have an open mind. Yeah. Don't be so stuck in your ways. It's important. This image though, it's so good. It's so freaking funny. And I absolutely adore it. That green splash like right in the middle is really solid. It's absolutely gorgeous.
That must have been a mess to clean up though, Sonny. All the dirt.
Oh really? I wanted I did have a board below to make sure I try to keep it in. And actually, I do have some behind the scenes shots of this, and maybe after I post on Instagram, I can share those behind the scenes because I was very conscious to make sure that everything is on the surface of the Xbox. So there was still some areas of the Xbox that was not covered with the dust because I think I went quite tight in. So
yes.
So
Are these little characters like the small characters for like trains and
Yeah,
stuff like that?
that's right.
Like okay,
Yes,
that's what I thought. It's
yeah.
those are I have not experimented with those, but I would really like to get some. I feel like they could be really, really fun to play around with.
Yeah, they actually are. And the reason why I wanted to pick up 3D printing was I wanted to make my own characters of this scale. I
Oh.
figure out the process on. I figure out the process on how to quickly get a model, pose it. You know?
Yeah.
So I
Have
wanted
you
to-
done like as a graphic designer, have you done any like 3D rendering like just in general, or like have you done that like and not printed yet, or you know what I mean? Like have you played around with it? No.
my
You
3D
just
skills.
jump right into everything.
I was
I-
just curious.
Because these days they have quite a few websites where you can quickly create your own avatar quite easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some website you just upload and then you can just get it into post quite easily. So
Yeah.
so these days you don't have to really start from scratch if you don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah. I've played with like 3D building and stuff like that, but the problem is I don't really have the two-dimensional artistic skill. So like I've been able like I've done some, you know, like building files and stuff like that, but it's like I can make a door or a wall of something because it's like geometric, so it's more
Right.
like shape driven. But I don't know, like I wish I knew more people who could do like the actual like illustration 3D like illustrative type stuff, because that's like I can't draw a person's face in 2D. How in the world am I going to do it in 3D? Like I am a terrible artist, like awful. So it's like I would love to see like what you could kind of manifest with this.
Yeah, I would like to try and print my own real way figures. Like
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
The micro machines that I have for when I shot the bantha for Angus's shoot, those Scott are about that size, so you could get stormtroopers in micro machine size.
Yes, correct. Yeah, but they come with stands though.
They do. They have like the little stand on the bottom, so it's like you either have to like take that off, which is like I don't know, feels excessive.
Like my look.
I have them here actually.
Yes.
See the whole. Oops. See, it's like a whole collection of faces.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the whole, when I was like, I don't know, I don't know whether you can see the art there.
Yeah, we can see a little bit.
So it's like when I was younger, right? I collected so many of the micro machines. I have a lot of the tiny little figures. Yeah.
Oh, I love tiny figures.
Yeah, but the problem is they have a stand, so.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to either cover it up with dirt or sand or something to make them disappear. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm thinking of like cutting away the stand and
Yeah, snip them off. Like, well, we talked about this. It'll be the last podcast. We were talking about the Funko Pops that come with stands for Star Wars, and I'm like, I wonder if I should just unglue them and just take them off the stands because they get in the way. They're so hideous.
I would try to heat up and try and see whether I can pull out the stand.
Yeah. This
Get
is
a process before you ruin everything.
yeah. That's what I said. I'm gonna have like carcasses of Funko Pops laying all over the ground just that didn't succeed.
Because these figures in this picture too have stands. Because I remember like the
yes, I always enjoy pulling them out. Yeah, then I shave off the support and all that.
Oh, you took the stands off of these guys?
All of them. Yeah, I it's quite easy. You just need to like use the hairdryer on the base. And just rip it off. So they will have a stud below. So I got to shave off.
Sand it. That's cool. I love this. This again, your versatility like is it's so good. You're just so good at what you do. I love seeing your graphic design elements that get incorporated into your toy photography. Here's a question. This sounds really weird, but I just thought of this. Have you ever used your toys in your professional life?
That's a very good question. That's a good question. I have a client like say that I kind of like share some of my photos with them, and they were quite fascinated with it. And in fact, they are pitching for a job. Let me see, maybe in September to have an exhibition and workshop as part of their program. So they run a children's drama thing. I don't know how they're gonna tie it up with my toy photography, but they try to work together. They are tender and try to pitch for this thing. So
That is so cool.
So I also sometimes try to convince them to use some like Little Prince, right? Those classic stories, Little Prince. And so in fact, I did shoot some photographs for their use. So in a way, yeah, this one client they kind of encourage that. Yeah, so
That's
so
awesome. That is
so
absolutely awesome.
hopefully this September thing, when they pitch to a organization, so hopefully they buy it, and it'll be good if they approve it. So
I love it. I love it. Sonny, seriously, thank you so much for being on here.
it's a pleasure.
Absolutely a joy. Again, end of the episode. Do you have, other than your Instagram that people saw, do you have any other things, any platforms and stuff that you use that you want to shout out or anything like that?
Okay. My Facebook page is also same account name, and my website is also zigzagzone.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting thing about my website was hijacked 2 years ago. Just because I was too lazy to renew the domain name, and I figured that nobody's gonna use this.
Nobody
name.
would take that.
But I guess there must be some bot out there that is looking for expired domain.
They do. That's exactly what they do.
For 2 years, it was a Chinese website selling stuff.
Interesting.
So
That
I
is,
knew they were gonna hold it for a while, so I monitored it for a while. I managed to grab back the domain.
when it was done. Good.
Yeah,
All
so I
right.
need
So
to-
you do have the site, Facebook, Instagram page, all the same name. It all matches up.
I
So
still need to put some material on my website also, so it's still in a work in progress thing. Yeah.
absolutely. Awesome. Well, seriously,
cool.
wonderful, Sonny. Wonderful
Yeah.
stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. It was nice talking to you guys finally. See you guys talking to others. It's
Yeah.
surreal here. Yeah.
Well, y'all, thank you for listening to another wonderful episode of the combined SBN F-Stop Rebel podcast. Truly a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed everything. Remember, please do not grow up. It's a waste of time. I am Scott, F-Stop Rebel, and there's obviously Steph.
Yep, I'm still here, and you can find me at Slag My Thrilla or the SBN. You'll see all the credits on the end, but I always want to say, just guys, stay awesome and keep it up.